Hello, everybody. This is Tiffani.
Hey, what's up? This is Ariel.
And we are on episode 8.
Is it?
It's 8.
Girl. Hey, what we gonna do when we get to this 10? I just feel like there should be a small celebration when we get to 10.
We coming in here with party hats and streamers.
What time we doing this party? Because you know I got a strong 9:30 bit now.
Right.
So, can we do this party at about 7:15?
I think that works.
Okay, good. So what you been doing?
Well, first of all, we've been being the best versions of ourselves.
Hey,
with
you
this
better
podcast, okay? We out here flexing.
Let me tell you about the gifts I didn't know I had, but the Lord had put inside of me, and I said, "Come on through with it." Listen, all of them. I'm taking all. Let me shine up in here. I'm definitely an engineer. Y'all seen my commercial? Y'all seen it?
We got promo, y'all. Like
promos. We got commercials.
We
snippets.
got memes. We out here.
Listen, hey, we out here so tough that we had a fake page come up on our Twitter page talking about some. So I don't know if y'all remember, I was talking about Natalie Grant, who is an amazing Christian singer, and she was at the conference that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
So I call myself following her on Twitter for Grab Your Cup. I'm trying to, be respectful and show support to folks that I, enjoy their content.
Mm-hmm.
Minding my own business, brushing my teeth one morning, trying to be the best version of me with some baking soda, and all of a sudden I get a notification saying Natalie Grant started following you on Twitter. Well, I said, well, wait a minute.
Right.
So then me and Tiffany talk about it as we talk, and Tiffany was like, did Natalie Grant inbox us on Twitter? Girl, the fake Natalie Grant page, and they want to send a hi. Girl, but listen.
They didn't even let us live in that moment long enough to just show how much of a fraud they were. Like, I was like, y'all gotta be stopped. This is just, y'all on trash.
I just wanted to feel great for like 30 minutes. Cause I just felt like Natalie Grant was like, you know what? I see y'all. But you said, no, let me snatch that from you. Cause joy. you try to snitch my joy.
You tried it.
But whatever. Ain't nobody listening to y'all. I just want you to know that really irritated me when I saw that though. Like, y'all some terrible folks.
Like, who does this? Y'all gonna be fries with a Christian singer though?
Right!
Y'all got no boundaries.
Here's the thing. I just don't want to stand in line behind you when we get up there.
Right.
Like, when we get up there, I'm going to be like, oh, that's him. Never mind. Can I go get in the other line? Because I don't need to be close to you by no inches, okay?
I don't like the way you moving out here.
Hey, what you call it? 3 feet, no pressure?
I need 3 feet, no pressure.
Let me get up off you. Let me get up off you.
Whoever thought I need to scam people using a Christian singer's alias, you're trash. Like, just
hot garbage.
Do better.
Okay, that's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how was that soup?
Okay, so here's something you guys should know about us. We like to cook, okay, and
love to cook. Oh, y'all might not know this. I'm a vegan. That's Ariel.
I'm not. That's Ariel.
I just want to be very clear. Ariel is a vegan.
Tiffani is not. However, I was able to have one of her vegan dishes that she made, which was a broth-based soup, with rice noodles and fresh vegetables, and I just didn't even know who I was. How much I enjoyed this. Like, you have to know, like, I love bacon. Like, me and bacon has never betrayed me the way some people have. Like,
you know what? I literally can't stand you. Did you say bacon has never betrayed me?
Never let me down.
It betrays you every time you swallow it, just so you know.
No, let me tell you. When it's crispy, when it's thin like Forrest Gump with shrimp, bacon has never bacon bits, imitate all of it. Okay? So here I am.
You here for all of it.
And I like veggies, but I'm saying I had that day coffee and a piece of coffee cake, and I think that's it. And I wasn't that hungry, but I was beginning to get hungry. When I say I was filled to capacity with this soup, I didn't even know who I was. Like, and I kept saying, like, who am I right now? She was like, what did you think was gonna happen? I don't know what you vegan people do, but what I know.
You vegan people? First of all, you're a racist. Let's start there, you vegan people.
I don't know what you do, but I know this is delicious, and I feel like I'm being conned right now. And so,
first, let me just tell y'all that I tend to do this to people with vegan food because people are under the idea that vegan food is like a salad every day.
Mhm.
And it's definitely not a salad every day. Like I cook. Like I literally cook every day. Like it's a real thing. Like today, I made vegan spaghetti, and the sauce was made out of avocado oil and fresh avocados. I'd put peas and cherry tomatoes in there with parsley.
That's so much work. You know what? Now I get it. Me and Bacon, Bacon just might promote some of my trash characteristics that I still gotta let go because listen.
Hey, I just want you to know it's funny every time you say that, and I just try to contain myself, but I literally chuckled when you said trash character.
That's what they are, y'all. Don't call them nothing else. That's what they are. Because a little bacon on anything is better than it. So like everything you just said, I was been like, you know what? I probably would have added in there
bacon.
Yep, that would have been it.
You get on my last nerve.
But that sounds delicious.
What?
It sounds good.
It was very good.
It sounds like a lot of work. So bacon might...
Okay, so let me tell you what I did. I boiled some... First of all, it's like making regular spaghetti. I boiled some noodles, and while the noodles were boiling, I cut 2 avocados open, put them in a bowl, stirred it until they were smooth, and then I took cherry tomatoes, and then I put them in the pot. Ta-da!
Oh, okay.
You still how ratchet my ta-da was for you?
Okay.
Yes, there was no glitter in it. It was pure
Now, this is what's funny about everything we're discussing. Me and her have similar health goals, but I just don't want to do any of the work because...
Okay, so I went vegan for health reasons myself, and I actually went high alkaline vegan, right? So if y'all don't know what that is, look it up. But basically, it's just... eating foods that are extremely high alkaline so that you can change your pH levels in your blood. And most women don't know what the pH level is due to your lady parts.
Right.
But there's a pH level to your blood or whatever. So I did it for health reasons, and I was able to drop. I went from like 227. I'm 5'11", y'all. And I was like 227. I was never like fat, but this girl was... we call her chunky.
Hey,
I was thick and
all the right ways.
Except for this chin. I had this chin and this neck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I went to like 175. Hey y'all, at 175 though, I kind of look like Oh yeah. So I had to gain back 10 pounds. So I gained back. So I'm a strong 185 right now.
I am so upset you call fish represent being sick. I can't believe.
Listen, I look like I had the alphabet. I didn't want that. So I was like,
You didn't. I just think that yourself and people receiving you were so used to that scrumptious, thick version of you that it was like...
I did have people tell me that, like, I liked you better when you were thicker. Here's the thing. I look really cute in clothes, but get this thing naked, baby. It's moving and shaking. It is living its best life by itself, okay?
So, and for me, like, so I attempted for like 3 weeks to try to be alkaline, 3 solid weeks. And my issue was cheese. Like,
yeah,
I made a
dairy
dish.
Is hard.
I made a dish and I was like, and I bought some vegan cheese. I didn't do trial and error because vegan cheese is a little expensive. But I didn't do trial and error. I should have done more research before just buying anything. I could have done that. But I bought this cheese. I was like, oh, this sounds good, what it's saying. And it was terrible. And I was like, ooh, this is gonna be hard. Like, everything else was cool until I made... that was the part I was like, what are you gonna do about this cheese?
Every type of vegan cheese is not good though. So I agree that you're gonna have to do trial and error. But like the other day I made eggplant lasagna and the cheese that I used is amazing mozzarella. It's so delicious, and everybody who ate it was like, some people even told me it was too cheesy for them, and it's definitely plant-based cheese. So they've got really good recipes. You just gotta go out there and try that thing.
Yeah.
So it's not over. Just so you know,
okay.
We're not done.
Okay, well, listen.
Like, I make vegan meals in the morning before I go to work, and I feed like 5 different chicks at my job vegan food because I'm trying to help them live their best life. So if you think that you're going to be an exception to the rule and I'm over here taking these heifers food to work, you, ma'am, are Y'all can't see her, but she definitely just turned her lips up like no.
I definitely did the face that she said I made when I wasn't grateful for that phone. That
was the ungratefulness.
But I am. And this is what I recognize when how delicious. This soup was so delicious. I went out to get ingredients to remake it because I was craving it. And I was like, it's so filling. It's so good. It has spice. It has spice in it. I feel like I'm a better person while I'm eating it. Like, I just was raving about it. I've been telling people about it. I was taking pictures of it. I got a picture from both days. Like, it was so great. And then I had to recognize that this is exactly why you are big right now. And this is why because you definitely gonna have to do the work to be the better version of you. Now, we talk about on here all the time being the best version of ourselves, and I will be the first one to admit that my physical health is a struggle. Okay, it is an area that all the mess we talk about, like, you gotta let go of those places that you allow yourself to. That's mine, y'all. So don't ever allow me to pretend like it's not. That's my struggle.
Well, if you're looking for somebody not to allow you to get away with it, be with the right one, because I'm definitely not going to allow you to get away with none of that.
And so years ago, I like made decisions, and it was almost like a test. Like, I wanted to test myself, like, can you do it? Can you lose some weight? And I came up with a whole strategy. It was successful. And like most people in most things, when I started losing the weight and I felt a little cute.
You get a little jazzy. You got a little jazzy.
A little different. I got in that medium jumpsuit. I said, what?
And you listen.
I was taking selfies out the wazoo. I was just trying new lips. I was feeling great. and I didn't hit a crunch for a solid 7 months.
Hey, because them selfies held you through for 7 months. Like, just carry you through.
I was like, hey, I mean, I know you could go further in this thing, but you kind of made a little dent, right? Feel good about yourself. Take a day off or a couple months.
I was about to say a day. Oh, God.
And ultimately, I was like, ooh, you gonna have.
I wish y'all could see this. This is amazing.
I told her, like, you gonna have to stop I recognize, like, I'm doing all this work and I'm working on my mind, working on my spirit. I'm handling situations better. I'm making evaluations about people in my life and how I handle things. But this physical.
She gonna say to me, I got to do the work all the way around or I'm gonna be around. Look, I'm like, okay, first of all, stop talking to me because I cannot deal with the foolishness.
And I recognized, I was like, ooh, you really got to check yourself. And that's what happens when you start thinking about things and you really start getting your ducks in order, reviewing things and getting a little more accountable about your actions.
Oh, yeah?
Then you start paying attention. And this one, I ain't going to be able to lie to myself, y'all, because I, for like 4 years straight, have said I want to stop being big every year and have done nothing but eat bacon.
I was about to say, it's from that damn bacon.
Eat bacon every year.
I just okay, so recently, like, I had went vegan, y'all, and then I kind of like, all right, so let me tell y'all about this vegan life I was on. So I was a vegan for a full year, and then I went on vacation with an ex-boyfriend, and like, it was an all-inclusive, and who goes to an all-inclusive and doesn't eat?
And get your life.
Listen, so I was like, definitely gonna eat everything. So I went and I ate, and then I came back and I was vegan, and then I went on a couple more trips and I ate and came back and I was vegan. So I was able to flip-flop, like I was able to eat.
So you were vegan in intervals.
Correct.
I like that.
Right. You could do that?
Maybe. We'll see.
Whatever.
Cheese, bacon.
No!
Okay.
So, I was doing that, and then I was just like not vegan at all. And I started eating cakes and pies and stuff. That was my weakness. Like, I had went on this sugar binge, but it was because of stress. And the stress was because I was like trying to avoid all the things that I needed to be doing in life.
That was happening for real.
So I was going to eat this banana bread and eat myself into submission, girl. And then my face started to break out. Hey, y'all, I've always had clear skin my entire life because I don't eat sweets like that. Like I never did, because I also didn't have stress. But this was a new type of life.
It was a new territory.
Yee!
And new things happened.
And that had to do with acne too. So at 38, y'all, I got acne. Look, I was like, so we're going to have to do something complete. I got acne for a full month. Like I literally broke out the worst I've ever broken out in life, and I've probably have damaged my skin for the rest of my life in 30 days. It was terrible, y'all. I was eating pints of ice cream. I was eating pies. I had them little, let me tell you, I freeze little Kit Kats and put them and go eat one by one, because I feel like if I eat the little ones, it's not as bad.
But when you keep eating them every day.
First of all, let's not bring it up to past.
Okay.
But it was terrible. And then I just had to stop and hold myself accountable. And I was just like, listen, you're going to have to stop and you're going to have to do what you need to do. Refocus, get back on the grind, and let's go. And at the same time that I was saying that, Tiffani was like, all right, so I need to start holding myself accountable, refocus, and get back on the grind. And I'm like really good at this vegan thing. Like I got this, like I got knowledge, y'all. So one day we might do a thing about that. But I told her that I would help her, and she admitted that the biggest thing is holding herself accountable for it. But so for me, I got all the accountability issues. Like, and I say it to people all the time, like I'm getting way better at holding myself accountable. But you ever look back at the stuff that you should have held yourself accountable for, and you just be like, you would be in such a way better place if you would have just held yourself accountable then.
Listen, I have to forgive myself daily. I'll have to recognize, like, this is probably a whole nother topic, but I had to get so tired of me.
Oh, sick and tired.
Because I was tired for a while of what I was feeling and the environment I was in. But I had to get tired of me, because I was like, girl, you are here every time. It looks this bad.
Hey,
I don't like what just happened here.
I made a post one day on Facebook. And I was just like, I'm so sick of me. Like, and 900 people like it was so many likes. Like everybody was like, girl, you sick of you. I'm so sick of me, y'all. Like I had got to a point where I was just so sick of me for so many reasons. Like I was sick of me for accepting trash people. I was sick of me for accepting trash acts. I was sick of me for having trash character traits. I was sick of me for not holding myself accountable for the things that I needed to, and giving myself loopholes and scapegoats. I was sick of me for dealing with things for so long and being so upset that they were happening, like I didn't have a choice to end them. I was like, you have to start holding yourself accountable. And I think I did when I was doing those gratitude videos. I think like my first or second one was about accountability, because I didn't realize how big accountability was until I got onto this journey that I'm on. And I realized like the accountability that I needed to hold myself for, like I needed to hold myself to such a high standard of accountability, because I have been lacking for so many years. I keep telling y'all I'm on this fast course, and I was just like, yo, I need to start holding myself accountable for my actions, for the things that I am doing, for the things that I'm not doing. Like I was treating people a certain way, and I was allowing people to treat me a certain way. And I think a lot of people forget that accountability is everything. Like it took me a long time to realize, like, even if a person treats you wrong, you have to hold yourself accountable, because you allowed that to happen.
Absolutely.
You allowed that person into your life. You allowed that person the position, the title, the authority and the power that they had to actually do that. You have to give it. So I was giving people authority. I'd say all the time, you teach people how to treat you. And I was teaching people how to treat me, and then being upset about how they treated me. Like how do you do that? And I was doing it on a regular basis. I was confused on what was the next course of action I should do. But the reason I was confused, because it meant that I was going to have to do something. Absolutely. And I was so used to expecting somebody else to do something, because accountability, like it's super easy to hold somebody else accountable. But when you have that mirror and you looking at it and you start holding yourself accountable, like that's a completely different like that's a new territory. Like it made me feel some kind of way.
I know for me, my thing would be I'm accountable for what I did, but I almost unconsciously was functioning in like seeking vengeance almost for what, like I wanted my justice for what was done for me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I did it, but I need you to know what you did. Or I would kind of like pass over that part and kind of depreciate the value that was in me learning the lesson I needed to learn about myself in that moment.
Right.
So because I was skipping over that and highlighting and focusing on what this other person did, and I didn't think I was highlighting in that moment, but that would be what stunted my growth and what I could have got out of that moment, because I'm like, you really hurt me. And I'm almost like wanting justice. I want you to understand. I want other people to understand that I've been hurt. You hurt me. Here's the thing. You kind of sat there and let it happen, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You kind of, I mean...
And let's not pretend like while somebody was hurting you, you didn't retaliate and try to hurt them too. Or not even try, you actually did.
Oh, I did it.
Absolutely. Look, and felt like it was justified. And I got a little pep in my step behind my walk because of it. Like, yeah. And
that was a good one.
Yes. And then you were just being a trash character yourself.
Listen.
Because trash character is hilarious. And then I had to realize that I was asking for things that I wasn't giving people. Like had to hold myself accountable. Like, hey, you got this amazing bar for everybody else. Where your bar at, boo? Like I gave myself so much leeway. And in that, I was able to set expectations for other people. And then when they didn't meet those expectations, I had a problem. In the interim, I wasn't doing any of the things that I was expecting another person to do. I just expected them to do it for me.
Here's what I did. I felt like I was doing things that was expected of me, but I didn't feel like I had to acknowledge what was being told to me that I wasn't doing.
Oh.
So I was like, I'm treating you how I want to be treated. They'd be like, hey, you're not doing this, but I'm treating you. Did you hear what I said?
Or here's another one. You think that because you're treating a person the way you want to be treated, treating them the way they want to be treated is not valid. Like, and how dare they not treat me how I want to be treated?
Or how dare you not value the way I am treating you?
Like, first of all, where your notepad?
You got amendments on this? Did you running this through the Senate? What's happening here?
Through the Senate? Oh.
We talking about this on the conference floor? What's going on? Like, why is this not enough? Meanwhile, I got all the edits for their love and what they're giving to me. Like,
all the edits.
I'm always
I will cut, copy, and paste your love.
Your paper got so many red marks. It don't make no sense. Like, you chose the word for and you could have said two. Like, I'm to the T with it. Like, I'm sizing down this whole thing, and I'm like, I give you,
and don't even want to hold yourself accountable
because here's the thing, it's what we said on another episode, because it's not comfortable to look at the ugly parts of yourself sometimes. Absolutely. And it's all there, and because to me, I am a good person. I know I'm a good person, but I was avoiding dealing with the parts that weren't good, that were blocking certain things that I wanted and needed in my life, and not dealing with them. I'm like, I'm definitely being good to you. Yeah, I'm being all those trash things that I am too. and they trying to talk about it, and I'm like, no, but I'm good. Let's stay focused here. We gotta talk about
stop looking at the man behind the curtain.
Right.
You better stay on this page that we already on. Like, I know that there were times that I was like, the expectations that I had set because of a running dialogue I had in my head, right? And in that, I wasn't trying to hold myself accountable. And a lot of times we forget, or not even forget, we don't even acknowledge, look at it. Sometimes we don't even see it we're not even in that direction, looking in that direction. This on the far right, we definitely all the way on the left side. That the person that you're dealing with is your mirror. And I had a mirror, y'all. Like, I had a huge mirror in front of me, and all I could see in the mirror was everything that I was doing that wasn't being appreciated, except for, and I wouldn't pay attention to the things that I wasn't doing that was being asked of me. But at the same time, that mirror was also doing things that I wasn't doing, the things I wanted, and was saying, but look at the things I am doing. So like we were mirroring each other, and it was at a point where he didn't recognize the things that he was doing, and I couldn't recognize the things that I was doing. So nobody was going to get any better. It was just a constant push and pull. And when you don't want to have accountability for what it is that you're not doing, you definitely gonna come up with all the, okay, well, I'm doing this. Okay, well, I'm doing that. And why can't you just focus on this? And why can't you just focus on that? And when we get into a space of that, nothing gets accomplished. It's like a merry-go-round.
I feel like it was a sermon, and I will do the research to find it so I can come back and share it. It talked about how you attract, how sometimes you attract people. Sometimes you can develop chemistry and attraction with people based off the negative parts of you. It's not always about the good parts of you. And I think, and that the reflection of you, who you attract to you, you reflect how you love yourself is how you attract people.
Yeah.
And my ex, I was in this zone of like being super focused. This was like right off of when I lost all that weight. I was just telling you.
You was living your best life.
So I wasn't doing crunches no more. You feel me? I met my ex, and we went on this accelerated track super fast. And at that time, I hadn't had a boyfriend since my daughter's father, and I was like, which was some years, 8 years ago, and now 4 years, 8 years ago, 4 years then, and I was fine with not having a boyfriend. Like, that wasn't really what I was checking for, and I was in a space of getting really serious and focused on my business, my event business, what I wanted as a mom, what I wanted with my daughter, what I wanted for my life, and kind of having those conversations with myself, beginning to like, okay, you're gonna have to do what you gotta do. You're gonna have to get a little uncomfortable to do what you gotta do to get to where you're going. So I was moving out. I was leaving the state. I had a plan. I had an agenda.
Don't we all?
And then I got a boyfriend. And then when I get this boyfriend, he just showers me with all, listen, when I say I felt like I was every ounce of Holly Berry. I mean, I knew I lost a little weight, but he made me feel like I looked like Evelyn Lozada. I mean, I was just everything. I had fire like Tiana Taylor. I can't. I was it.
You picked some really good people though.
Listen, that's how I felt. I was like, well,
come on through with the come on through.
Tell me a little something. The problem with that is this turned into a very ugly situation that I feel like rendered a revealing of both of our characters and both of our insecurities and issues that clashed and met each other head on, but I only saw his during that point because he had built me up so much that I had the expectation that was kind of what I needed. And when he started to change, giving me that, I was like, excuse me?
But you know that when stuff like that happens, it's usually because a person's turning their love off. They turning it off. They turning it down. They're diluting it. It's when it doesn't feel the same, and the person who's not feeling it recognizes it. It changes your course also. And I think a lot of times people don't recognize how important love is to certain people, because it's a driving force for some. Here's where accountability comes into there, though, because you have to hold yourself accountable for what happened for that to be a thing. Like when I had situations with exes where love was turned off, I never wanted to look at what I did or hold myself accountable for what had happened, because they were turning it off from me. So to me, they were the problem, not recognizing that maybe something that I did is the reason why they turned it off. And it might not have been something that I did. Mm-hmm. But even in that, however it came about, you have some accountability in that situation, some way, somehow.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes because we're avoiding certain things, we don't want to be accountable.
Absolutely.
And we don't put it in self-accountability, because you will hold somebody more accountable for their actions because you don't want to make that tough call to say, this isn't working. And you don't want to be like, I need to step away. I don't want to have that on me. You don't want to deal with the actions and the course you need to take that would put it in your hands. So you sit there and take uncomfortable situations and hurt and treatment, because I don't want to be accountable that
you will be in a fight like Creed. Do you hear me? Although, hey, Michael B. You'll let those punches. You'll take those punches and it over and over on a constant basis. You'll take them instead of doing what you know you need to do.
Well, see, what happened for us is that I feel like I then began being so focused on the ways I wasn't being loved that I started almost arguing and defending and trying to get understanding of why that didn't exist, why that wasn't there anymore, why did you take this away, trying to be understood why I was hurt, all the while knowing he's taking his love away. And I knew that, but I'm just trying to get him to be accountable for it and hold and him accountable, and that he's doing that, and I'm never getting it. So I'm staying there almost for the accountability
on their part.
All the while it's hurting me. And after us going through that and in reflection of having to have those honest, ugly talks with myself about things that I do.
Because them talks be ugly.
And I definitely see a lot of the things I did during that time. But mainly, I had to go back and really look at our course. I did not want a boyfriend. I felt pressured by his treatment of me to make him my boyfriend. I didn't want a boyfriend then. And I then recognized I ignored all the ways he wasn't loving me the way I wanted by the things that felt good in that moment. So all the things that made me feel great, the plan I was coming up with for myself was a self-love thing. It was, this is what you need to be doing. This is where you are.
Right.
And then here he came into my life almost with the easy button, giving me this package that I didn't have to do the work for it. Like, I didn't have to go move, put my plan into motion, because I'm great here. Now, I still wanted all those things, but I'm saying he almost accelerated the love I needed to give myself, because he made me feel more worth it than I actually felt about myself. That made it okay. Like, it gave me permission. Like, yeah, you could feel that good about yourself without doing anything to maintain it. Right. So when he took it away, it went away of how I felt about myself too.
Absolutely.
And so I'm fighting for him, not really because I'm fighting for us. I'm fighting for that love back that you made me feel about me that I need back. Because I don't feel as worth it if you're not giving it to me this way. Whole time, I wasn't being a part of the relationship in the way I could have been, to really be in there to work with him, because I was trying to get what I needed out of that. And if I was honest,
and if you were holding yourself accountable at that time,
I wasn't at all, because I was only seeing what he did at that time, and I deemed it more important. Now here's the thing, it was important. I didn't need him to know it was. I needed to know it was.
Right.
To do what I needed to do, to not keep myself in a situation that was continuously hurting me and causing more damage, where the healing took way longer out of it, because I sat there and allowed myself to be damaged, because I wanted to talk about what he did and I wanted him to acknowledge it, and I didn't want to see anything that I did. I didn't want to, it felt, not that it was real, but it felt like I didn't have a choice. Almost like, hey, I came in this and who I was wasn't enough, and this is where it left me. Not acknowledging that I wasn't being my best self all the time. I was letting him down sometimes too. I wasn't giving it,
because we be like, first of all, focus on your own stuff. Right. Don't be worried about what I'm doing.
Put your highlighter away.
Yes. You. And your red pen, sucker.
Right. He'd be like, you don't got a red pen? We are talking about you. Okay? And stop watching me with my red pen and my highlighter on your paper. Mind your business. Get out of my page on my book. Take your bookmark back.
I don't want it. I did a lot of holding somebody else accountable and not holding myself accountable with my son's father, with exes that I had. I didn't, until recently, within the past 2 years, even recognize the level of accountability that I should have been holding myself at, because unfortunately I was mentally stuck where I was. Like I wasn't mentally prepared to have those type of conversations with myself. I wasn't mentally prepared to accept the fact that there were things that I needed to work on. It was much easier to acknowledge what the other person needed to do. Now, let me just be clear. Holding yourself accountable does not mean that the other person has no accountability.
Let's talk about
because I've been in relationships where, yes, there was a lot that I needed to be held accountable for, but there was also a lot that the other person needed to be held accountable for. I just can't fix their accountability. Only accountability I can fix is my own. So when you over here self-reflecting and figuring out what you need to do to move forward, you cannot say to yourself, okay, what do I need to do to move forward? And then look at the other person and say, well, he needs to, first of all. That's not how accountability works. And when I was having conversations with people about holding myself accountable, everybody would say, like, okay, so what about him? What about them? What about this person? What about that person? I'm like, yeah, they definitely have some things that they need to hold themselves accountable for and work on, but that's not my paper. I need to worry about my paper, because sometimes holding yourself accountable will allow the other person to start holding themselves accountable, because they can't do nothing but that, because that's all you given. Like I explained that in the podcast about truth, honesty, and transparency. Like,
which y'all need to listen to, because y'all on trash, because y'all
and y'all don't want to hear that truth, honesty, and transparency. Like, y'all love every other podcast but that one.
Go listen.
But on that podcast, I was saying how I wanted transparency, right? And then I was in a situation where that's not what I was given, though. Like, I wasn't given transparency. I told you I wasn't even given truth, but I kept wanting to demand, and then I had to look at myself like, boo, you stop looking at other people's paper.
Well, this is something I realized, how easily we give our loophole, because we think when we are looking at one thing, we excuse accountability, and like acknowledgement gets confused with accountability. You feel like if I acknowledged what I did, I'm being accountable for what I did, but that's not the same.
Let me tell you, yes it is. Because I will definitely tell you, I did acknowledge it.
No, and it's not the same. And I can see that, like, because I had no problem shying away from a conversation to say, yes, I did this, but the way I moved in my actions after acknowledgement was trying to hold the person more accountable for their actions than myself. And I know for me, I've struggled with like the mental strengths that I've gained in this year are remarkable, right?
Listen.
And I'm putting them to work. And
it's something like a warrior.
Listen.
Okay. And I'm about to have a warrior call in a minute.
Okay. And it's work. Okay. And it's continuous. And it doesn't mean there's so much more peace that I've already kind of like found the reward of why doing the work is worth it in this category, which is why we're going to have to get to the physical stuff. But anyway, mentally, I've definitely grown, and accountability, I've learned where not wanting to look at those ugly parts, because I didn't want to have to be accountable for them, because I told myself I understood. Like, that understood. Basically, I recognized that I wanted people to understand the bad parts of me.
Right.
And ultimately, that's what it was. Like, okay, yes,
Trash
I did it.
character.
Exactly. Yes, I did that. But understand where I was coming from. No, fix it, sweetheart. Fix it. So you will know when you get greeted by someone and you've been doing your own accountability.
First of all, I just want to, don't lose that, but I just want to say, when you said fix it, sweetheart, I definitely wanted to flip my computer over, because you have some things that are just triggers for you. Dear, sweetheart is so condescending to me. Like, I had exes actually say that to me, and it just made me feel like I just want to punch you in your face. So when you said that, I almost had a flashback, but I'm working on me. But go ahead. I'm sorry. It's just sometimes you just have triggers, and that was one of mine. And I just needed to share that with y'all, because the heat that went up my face, like, I'm pretty sure my face turned red when I heard. I need to work on that. Hey, that's like when I was having them panic attacks when I heard ringtones. I need to work on that. I'm sorry. I know somebody's like, this heifer is nuts.
But yeah, I wanted people to be okay with the bad parts, and I thought acknowledging it was doing the work. The work goes beyond the acknowledgement. It's your commitment to fix it, not because the other person called it out, not because you know that you don't want to be treated that way and you don't want to represent yourself in that manner. So I think then now doing what you need to do to conduct yourself better, because in a place where you're valued and when you're dealing with people in relationships, friendships, whatever, that you're valued, they will appreciate your accountability and you will grow from being accountable. Hey, I'm not going to do this. And what I would do is kind of like stall my growth, trying to make sure they did. Like, I'll move when you move.
Right.
I'll do. Well, are we both acknowledging that
is we taking 2 steps forward or not? Because if we not both taking 2 steps forward, I'm gonna just sit here till you get ready.
I'm supposed to just do the work and you thinking, because I could think so. Like, and that only hurts you. And I recognize how sizing other people up. There's so many things that I've had to just kind of really simmer down my thoughts, hit my thoughts with the shh button, because I had to think about what role I played in it. Yes, this person did this. This is what you're doing.
Shut up.
You
said, shut up. I just realized another reason why I didn't want to hold myself accountable, because there is a certain level of vulnerability that you have to give to do that, and I don't want to. I told y'all I hate vulnerability. Like, I love it and I hate it. Like, it's such a necessary evil, but I always felt like if I was to take accountability for what I did and I acknowledged it and I voiced it, or even said, okay, you know what, you're right, I should have handled it this way, that what I'm gonna get back is, you right, you should have handled it this way, and you always doing that, and I'm going, okay, so first of all,
that's my trigger.
Simmer down, okay? Always. Because you getting carried away.
Always is my trigger.
I was told that a lot. Like, I say, so every time, so you need to use the right word then, and I'm like, first of all,
present. That's me as well.
I'm speaking figuratively when I say always.
Because you can't just tap in and speak figuratively sometimes and then you want to tap out and then now you're being general. Listen, we gonna talk what we talking, and we always boils my.
You want to know what it is? It's because you're a Gemini and y'all are nuts. And hey, I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna go out. Hey, and I just need everybody out here to double tap. Because I'm definitely going to need y'all to come out here with these. Y'all know these Geminis is crazy.
First of all, this is why you got to know who you are. So you don't let nobody tell you about yourself.
Listen, because I'm selling it.
I rebuke it.
Hey, I had a whole conversation on Facebook with somebody about Geminis. Listen, y'all out here being the worst versions of y'all, and the world knows it, because I was on Facebook and 922 people was like, and listen, let me just tell you, figuratively speaking, it was 922. It probably was 12, but that's a large number. Anyway,
you see how she would just throw these things out to not be accountable.
Shut up.
For fixing your language, ma'am.
And that always, I don't know why that always just burns y'all butter.
Always is definitive, and I think the always encompass, because here's the thing. I think it does something different for different people. But for me, if I am trying to do things to better whatever, and you tell me I always don't, it kind of discredits that.
Because you gonna be like, remember that one time at band camp? And I'm gonna be like, listen, because I better give you that one time.
And I don't know your experience, but I got about 12 times. So I need my 12 times acknowledge that we're not talking about one. Like, don't make always one. I have some people, like, my dance team in college, the leaders, one of the guys that ran the team.
This just boiled my water, just so you know.
He would always say, and we would get a kick out of it, and he'd be like, some people have been saying, or people have been saying, and we were like my best friend at the time, because I know her from there, would be like, I said it. It was me. It wasn't people. It was just me. Don't say people. It was me. It represents that to me. Like,
I just feel like,
always,
I'm not talking about every time.
Not if we're talking in meaning. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking in meaning, and you want me to take what you say in value and meaning, then you can't be like, I was just generally saying you were hurting my feelings. I would, like, tell me what I did. We got to talk about what it is, so I get it. I understand. Anyway.
Hey, I just want y'all to know that this did just turn into an episode, because this coming. Oh, we're going to have a conversation about this definitive. We're going to have a conversation about Geminis and their definitive talk. And you're going to have to tell the truth and shame the devil, okay?
We can... Listen, I had a whole conversation with someone online about how trash Sages are. Sag men. Well, it was mainly men. We gave the women some grace, but Sag men. But y'all Sag men.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna own that, because I feel like the way we talk, we are so blunt, direct, and
no, you're trash. You're just trash.
Sometimes
trash.
I'll take that too.
You gonna have to we talk about the Gemini.
Well, rumble, young man, rumble.
You gonna have to box down the exclusions, because you know they exist of where I don't fall in. So
you definitely get a hell of exclusions, but you gonna get them all them other ones.
Oh, I definitely have to face my crazy this year. So I see it. I know. It ain't as different as I wanted it to be.
It definitely ain't.
But I'm working. So
slow try.
So what are key things about the importance of accountability that you feel people should take away from this conversation that you've learned and you feel like accountability matters?
Okay, so one thing would be expectations. So with accountability, you can't have accountability and expectations. Like, those two don't even go together. It's like oil and vinegar. And it's like, I was the queen of an expectation. I would set an expectation on somebody, even on myself for that matter. I would set unrealistic expectations sometimes, and then sometimes they would be realistic expectations, and even if they weren't met, I'd be upset, but then I wouldn't hold myself accountable for setting the expectation in the first place. Like, well, then why did you should have never said it, because then this wouldn't have happened. I felt like these were attainable expectations. Like, I set the bar. Like, you could do this. And even if they could do this and they just didn't, it's like, but you set the expectation, right. So that's not fair to even do that.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times we look past a person's issues because of what we want. There are a lot of people who show you who they are, and you think that because of who you are, that it's going to be different for you. And when they show you who they are, baby, you better believe them. And that doesn't make them a bad person, but you have to hold yourself accountable for seeing those things and going anyway. And hold yourself accountable for not wanting to handle it and deal with it, or wanting to handle it and deal with it and dealing with whatever comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say somebody has trash characteristics, right? Say a person, you see, oh, really good example. You ever had one of them friends that every time you talk to her, she got a story about another friend, and she constantly always talking about a friend, and then she's always talking about a friend to you or somebody, and then when you find out that your business out there, you got you clutching your pearls. I cannot believe how she showed you who she was. So you need to hold yourself accountable for looking past what you saw anyway.
You, but that's fine.
You are. You doing it. Okay. You know what? Put your church finger down. But you still need to hold yourself accountable, because you're going to have this person in your circle and you upset because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They ain't never not did it. This is who they are, and you didn't want to believe them because you different. Because they would never do that to me. But that's who they are as a person. You do it in relationships all the time. If a person shows you that, if this person cusses out their exes, it's a strong possibility you about to get cussed out. If this person has bars for everybody, you probably gonna get bars. It is what it is. And then when you get them, you don't get to not hold yourself accountable for not acknowledging what that person brings, and you don't get to not hold yourself accountable for the things that you bring. And when a person points them out to you and you don't like how it looks, so you just gonna act like it ain't there. You're just gonna look over it under the table. You're gonna cover it with some dirt, pretend like it's not there. It's definitely there. I think that to me would be the gems that I got.
I would say what I said, that acknowledgement isn't accountability. And I think you have to give yourself,
that's a gem.
You have to give yourself, because the work goes past acknowledgement. It's like, upon acknowledging, you have to make the steps. And I think sometimes we don't do them because we make them situational to either who said it, where it came from, or the moment it existed. And we start trying to justify why it's not work about ourselves that we need to do to handle stuff better or do stuff better. With my ex, I was talking about, I would literally be screaming to the top, like lost my voice, because I was trying to make him understand.
Because clearly when you say something louder,
it works.
It's clearer. It's kind of like when a person don't speak English and you think if you talk English louder that they don't speak Spanish no more. Definitely speak Spanish.
And I had to recognize I wasn't fixing the part of me that handled that conversation better, or those conversations better, because I knew why I was doing it. And even when it would be said to me like, I really despise yelling. Okay, well, you actually are really treating me the way that got me yelling, so I don't know what we're gonna do.
So
here.
We here because of you. Welcome.
So you gonna fix that, or you because if you don't want the yelling, then you don't need to do what you're doing. But that's where accountability comes in. I don't want to yell. Not because of him. I don't want to be screaming at someone that I didn't care about at one point in time. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not, I wouldn't want this back. I need to change it. Not because of him, not because of what we're talking about, because I want to be the better version of me. I don't want to get the excuse that someone has to give me for why they mistreated me. So I need to fix this. And if this becomes an example or motivation or a reason, fine. But a lot of times we'll wiggle out of doing the accountability of what needs to be changed because, well, okay, well, he did that, or we dismiss it. It's not as big of what you did, or we start sizing down why it isn't as important.
Absolutely.
Just noting that you hurt somebody's feelings doesn't mean you start being accountable to make better decisions. And I think...
And it don't give you the right to turn your love off.
That part. And the other point I would say is accountability has grace. Sometimes I think...
Say it again.
For me, I would... kind of like, if I messed up, everything's off. Like, well, I already started cussing at you, so we just gonna keep cussing.
You know what? You said, well, since we here.
And I walked in the room, we're here now.
I literally can't see you today.
Every day, every moment has opportunity. It's up to you to value it. So I think if you have the opportunity to correct things, to fix it, to make it better, you have to be accountable. And kind of to the other point, stop finding reasons to not have to do the work. Stop eating bacon, y'all. Like,
get you some asparagus.
Listen, but we all have things we want. Some things we want from people, some things we want from relationships, some things we want for ourselves, and we will sabotage our growth and how we really get there, and sometimes how we really figure out what we need, because we don't want to be accountable for the steps that we got to take along the way. And we'll sit there and blame environment, situations, other people on why we're not doing our part. Like, we'll sit there and have a whole list of why. I haven't hit any type of exercise, and I don't like none of my jiggly parts. And listen,
I want more jiggly parts.
Listen, I don't like none of them, and I had to realize, like, you're gonna have to stop saying how much you don't like these parts if you're gonna not do anything to change it. Like, so let's kind of look at the picture here, because if you keep saying that, you're almost convincing yourself this picture looks different.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna have to talk about what's really happening here. Your part, you are jiggly because you're not doing something. When you start doing something, you can start changing the conversation. And so accountability has grace. That means if you misstep, you come back, you do it again.
Yep.
You stay committed to whatever decision, whatever path that you know is in alignment of what you need to be doing, because your accountability for you has nothing to do with anybody else you're interacting with or any other situation. You got to do your work for you.
Absolutely. It's nobody else's job but yours. Hey, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm working on it, because I can talk about it, but as soon as something comes up, I revert back to my trash habits, and I just be like, first of all, who you talking to, fam?
Listen.
And then I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Listen, I've been so proud of myself because I've just been eating less. I've been full, off of less. I've been like, this is great motivation to do right. I definitely ate 6 pieces of pizza yesterday. I
died when she told me, y'all. She was
6 consecutively. And 30 minutes later, my stomach was like, you a lie.
Look, I told her, her stomach said, so we haven't been doing this all week.
They were like, so you trying to get better or not? What you trying to do?
Don't worry, we'll help you.
Right. So, it's easy to fall back. It's like, I don't have to do that normal thing. I can be accountable and fix it. I don't have to just be like, well, give me a gyro today too.
You said a gyro. I miss gyros. Anyway, y'all. I think that's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.